Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how I can get to the famous site of the city of Moscow, Novodevichy Convent, using the public means of transportation. So right now I'm in the northwest of the city of Moscow, and that's the district where I live. And I'm going to use the metro system, but the metro which is not going under the ground, but it goes above the ground, and the system is known as Moscow Central Circle. It's a relatively new system of public means of transportation, and it was opened in the year 2016. And it's a very efficient system. Its length is a bit more than 50 kilometers, and the total number of stations is 31. Well, this system is actually the system of city trains, and this system is interconnected with metro stations and also stations of different suburban directions, and therefore it's quite useful, and it's nice, it's speedy, and it goes above the ground, which means that when you travel you can see different parts of the city of Moscow. Well, before I enter the system, I would like to tell you a couple of words about it. In fact, it existed in Moscow even at the beginning of the 20th century, and it was used mostly for cargo, because Moscow became quite an important industrial city by that time, and there was a necessity to move cargo, and also for a short period of time it was used for public as well. But then in the 20th century mostly it was used for cargo transportation. Already at the beginning of the 21st century there appeared an idea to turn it into the speedy public means of transport, and it was successfully done in the year 2016. So, well, now you can look around and you can get an idea about this part of the city of Moscow, northwest. Yeah, so it's just one of the residential districts of this city. Here we have a highway, so therefore we get a bit of a noise from the traffic. And now, well, today is not very sunny, but it's all right. So now I'm going to show you already some views of this system. So take a look. Here you can see the entrance to the station. Well, it's called Panfilovskaya. In the city of Moscow, metro is indicated by red letter M, and well, that's actually not the underground, as I mentioned earlier, but it is this system of trains which I'm going to use, and when it's possible to use it, I prefer to use it, because you can see a bit of a city when you travel, so it's kind of more entertaining for me, because I know metro, this is the underground system already very well, so for a change I take this means of transport. Okay, so here I'm taking an escalator. Because I need to use the bridge, and well, when it was opened it became quite popular, because it allowed to make the main means of transportation in Moscow, which is metro, which goes under the ground, a little bit less crowded. So look, in the distance you can see some high-rise buildings here. Also some apartment blocks can be seen as well. So most people, like the majority of Muscovites, live in flats, not in houses. And now we are walking along the bridge I will just show you a little bit of it, and then I will take the train and travel to the famous site of the city of Moscow, which is Novodevichy Convent. Today is Saturday, so it's not extremely busy, and this means of public transportation is opened from 6 in the morning till 1 o'clock at night. So during the night time you can't use it, but well, I guess that the time interval is quite good. So let me take a look. Where are we going? So I will choose. Okay, yeah, I guess that I need to go to the left. Yeah, so here I will enter the system. Well, here I've just paid for the use of this system, and I did it with the help of this card. Take a look. It's called Troika card, a special transport card which we use in Moscow, and the cost is 57 rubles. It's just the same as the cost of metro. If you, for example, use metro and then you use this Moscow Circle ring, then, and so you have to make an like interconnection, then well, the fee is a little bit less for that. It's usually half of the price. All right, so here it shows us the direction, and well, I'm going to take it. Let me also show you where we are. I mean, I'm at the platform. What can you see from this place? You can see an apartment block, which is a relatively newer apartment block, and the train has arrived. Okay, I guess that I need to make some steps forward and to take this train. All right, so look, here is the train. So the train system is the following. So trains run every 4 minutes in rush hour, the rest of the day every 8 minutes. So here it shows the direction, where we are going, and the complete map of Moscow Metro and Moscow Central Circle is right here. You can see that it's very, very huge and lots of stations.
Следующая станция Шелепиха.
Dear friends, we are already inside the Novodevichy Convent. So I took that means of public transportation, which I showed you, basically 15-20 minutes, and then I walked here. And I have just entered the grounds of this very famous place in Moscow, which is known as the Novodevichy Convent. So first of all, I would like to tell you a few words about the story of this place. Well, this convent, which I'm going to show you, is one of the oldest and one of the most important convents which we have in the city of Moscow. It was founded at the beginning of the 16th century by a Moscow prince. And the idea to build this convent dates back to the period of time when Russia managed to get back its original lands near the town of Smolensk. And to celebrate that important victory, the decision was taken by the Russian tsars to build the convent and to build the Smolensk Cathedral, which I'm going to show you a bit later. And this convent became one of the richest convents in Russia due to the fact that this convent was quite often visited by Russian tsars. They came to pray here, and they also made big donations to this convent. So from this particular spot, you can see the wall, the fortification wall of this convent, and also a bit in the distance, an overgate church. Well, convents in the olden times were quite important from the strategical point of view because they were used as fortresses. And now I'm in the southwest of Moscow, and well, in the olden times this part of the city, it was not actually the city, it was already outside the city, and well, quite often it was attacked by enemies, and they needed to defend the city, and therefore there were different convents and monasteries built around the city of Moscow. And the Novodevichy Convent, where I am right now, is one of them, one of the fortresses which had an important military function. Well, it used to defend the southwestern part of the city of Moscow. And the Novodevichy Convent is one of the sites in the city of Moscow, which is a UNESCO World Heritage site. And it is a really beautiful convent. Well, I came here when all the restoration works have been finished, and therefore we can say that this convent right now is in very good condition. And also it's a beautiful summer day, the end of August, and still sunny. You can see that the sky is just blue. We can still enjoy some well, beautiful and sunny days here. Okay, so now you can well, hear the some music of the bells coming from the bell tower, and later on I'm going to show you this tower. Well, what else I would like to mention from this particular place where I'm standing now? Look at the walls, they are quite massive. In fact, the Novodevichy Convent is the fortress, and it's like a bit of a Kremlin, but in miniature. So the size of the fortification walls, the length of the walls is about 1 kilometer, and there are 12 towers altogether in the system of the fortification of this fortress. And the walls were constructed in the 17th century, the beginning of the 17th century, and the beautiful decorations of the towers were added already at the end of the 17th century, during the time of the Russian ruler, the sister of Peter the Great, Sophia. And later on I'm going to tell you more about this lady and why quite often we associate this convent with her name. So let me maybe make some steps so that it gets more interesting for you and you can see more, and I will be giving you some more information about this famous place. Okay, so here, take a look. You can see the tower, one of the towers of the convent, and next to it, a little bit in the distance, you can see the church. It's an overgate church, a Russian Orthodox church, where it's the place where I exactly entered the grounds of the convent. So I mentioned this fact that the convent had very important functions, that the convent was a very rich convent. There was a period of time when a lot of lands belonged to this convent, so it was very influential. But it did not last very long, frankly speaking. So in the 18th century, the destiny of this convent changed and it's lost most of its lands. And also I would like to mention that in the year 1812, so that was the time when Napoleon came to Russia, this convent was the place which was used by the French soldiers, French troops, and they were planning to destroy this place. But thanks to the nuns who lived here, they did not manage to, to put their plan into reality, and therefore it has been preserved. Now take a look. I guess that you can have really beautiful view now, and I would like to give you some explanation. So you can see the church to the right with one golden dome and several silver domes. So the name of this church is the Smolensk Cathedral. That's the oldest church which we have here on the grounds of the Novodevichy Convent. And it was built at the beginning of the 16th century by the order of the Moscow prince to commemorate that important historic event which I told you about earlier. And it's called Smolensk Cathedral because it is dedicated to a very important icon, Orthodox icon, the icon of Our Lady of Smolensk. Now, yes, you can get some more sound from the bell tower. And meanwhile, I will start telling you a little bit about this bell tower. Take a look at it. It's quite high, and its height is about 70 meters. It's not as high as the bell tower in the Kremlin, but still it's high. And the bell tower was constructed at the end of the 17th century by the order of that Russian Tsarina, Sophia, who was the sister of Peter the Great. So take a look at this tower, and I would like to tell you that this convent is quite often associated with Sophia, who was the sister of Peter the Great. Why? Well, it happened so that Sophia liked this place, and when she was in power, she used it as a summer residence. She used to come here. She donated a lot of money to this place, and she changed this convent a lot. She, for example, constructed several churches. The bell tower was built during the time of Sophia. But it happened so that when Peter came to power, when Sophia lost in the battle with her brother, Sophia was actually exiled to this convent, and she was not forced to become a nun, but still she had to live here. So we can say that this famous convent became a place of exile of the sister of Peter the Great, Sophia, Tsarevna Sophia. So that's the story. And actually I have to say that it happened also to several other ladies of the noble origin, and most of them came from the family of the Tsar. The first wife of Peter the Great also was exiled to this convent and had to live here. So when I say that ladies of the noble origin had to come here and had to stay here, I do not want to say that they were forced to take the veil. No, it did not happen, but still they could not leave the grounds of the convent, and they already had to continue their life here. Okay, so slowly I'm going to move on. So take a look how green this convent is at this time of the year. It looks totally different in winter time because, well, it gets lots of snow, and it's very different. But summer is always pleasant and green. Yeah, so you can also continue hearing some sounds coming from the bell tower. Look at the trees. Yeah, well, why do we have the sounds coming from the bell tower? Well, the reason for that is that nowadays this convent belongs to the Russian Orthodox Church, which means that services are held here, and there is a local parishioner church where the services are held. So therefore it has an active religious life, and also it has a little museum inside. Yeah, take a look how it's all done. So that's the wall, yes, the fortification wall that I'm showing you now. And from that wall there is like a passage that goes to the bell tower. Take a look at it now. Yeah, so I hope that you get a nice view of this bell tower. So you can see that in the construction of the bell tower they used the red brick and the white stone decoration, so two colors, red and white, and that was common for the architecture of Moscow at the end of the 17th century, beginning of the 18th century. It was called like the Moscow Baroque style, and Sofia chose such a style for the construction of the bell tower here, and also for the construction of the churches here. And here now, just in front of us, you can see the oldest church here, the oldest cathedral, which we call it the cathedral, which is known as Smolensk Cathedral. So it was built at the beginning of the 16th century, and it has a totally different architecture. It has nothing to do with the architecture of the bell tower. No red color, no, because the architecture at that time was totally different. It was more austere, it was more simple. Take a look at it. Now I'm going to show it to you from a different angle, so that you can get nice views. Yeah, so now I guess that you can see it quite well. So we can say that it has the traditional architecture for the Russian churches of that period of time. So they were quite austere, quite simple, with little decoration outside. But inside, all Russian Orthodox churches are usually richly decorated with frescoes and sometimes mosaics are used as well. So from the outside, austere, quite basic, but inside always very decorative. I'm not going inside because, well, actually it's not allowed to do that inside this church. And also I would like to tell you that this church is only used in summer. In the olden times there was a tradition to build two types of churches. There was a church built for summer services, and there was also a church built for winter services. So this church was used only in summer, and nowadays it's possible to visit it only in summer due to the unique frescoes which are kept in this cathedral. So they're really unique from the artistic point of view. It has 5 domes, 1 golden dome and 4 silver domes, or grayish domes. So 5 domes meaning Jesus Christ, and 4 evangelists. Yes, so that's quite traditional for the Russian Orthodox Church. And take a look at the upper part. You can see a cross. Yes, so such kind of cross is used for the churches. And also you can come across of a cross of a little bit different size, which can be seen to the left on a little chapel to the left from this cathedral. All right, so I guess that with this sound coming from the bell tower, yeah, so they ring the bells now. Oh, good time for me to do the shooting. Just beautiful. Yeah. Okay, you can enjoy the sound of the bells. And it's usually done by hand, yeah? So there is a person there standing there who is ringing the bells on the bell tower. Okay, so I'll try to make several steps forward. So here you can see some more structures on the grounds of the convent. Oh, well. And the bell tower, yeah? So from where you can hear how they ring the bells. Now it looks really nice with the blue sky, with the clear and blue sky. Okay. Look at the sky. It's nice. It's blue and at the same time white. Quite unusual. Okay, so that's the opposite wall of the Novodevichy Convent. And here also there is an overgate church, which can be seen a bit in the distance. Well, from here, another look at the Smolensk Cathedral, which I already have described. And dear friends, if you look now, you can notice some crosses here on the ground, and it means that, and stones also, it means that this place is used also as a burial place, so there is a little cemetery inside. In the 19th century, there was a tradition to bury here people who were important at that period of time. Nobles, merchants, university professors, military leaders, writers, some scientists. So some of them were buried here on the grounds of the convent, and that's why we have a number of burials here. Also, Mother Superiors were buried here. There was a tradition to bury them here. There are several tombs of Mothers Superior of that period of time. All right, so we can continue with you. So what happened to this convent after the revolution of 1917? Well, it was closed. As most convents and churches, it was closed. It was turned into a museum, and there was a period of time when even some people lived here on the grounds of the convent. And due to that fact, with the time it got a bit neglected, a bit abandoned, and it was not in good condition. So they started restoration works already later. Basically, restoration works were carried out in the 1970s, 1980s. It was used mostly as a museum at that period of time. And not long time ago, this convent was given back to the Russian Orthodox Church, so we can say that nowadays it belongs to the church. But we also have some expositions, some little museums on the grounds of the convent. Well, we do have nuns who live here. And also there are ladies who live here on the grounds, who haven't still taken decision to become nuns, but they are thinking about it, and they live here and work here. They pray, and they take care of the flowers and do other job, cook, and well, they do the job which is needed to be done here in the convent, and they're preparing to become nuns. Not too many ladies want to do that nowadays in modern Moscow, but still there are some. So take a look now at this church. So it is known as the Assumption Church, and I'm going to show it to you. It's also very beautiful. It was constructed at the end of the 17th century, beginning of the 18th century, by the order of Sophia, sister of Peter the Great. And this church is used here even in the winter time, and it's like the main local parishioner church. It was constructed in Moscow Baroque style. It was made of red brick and decorated with white stone carvings. It has quite a unique architecture. It has a refectory. Now I'm showing you the part of the church which is kind of like additional, like an additional house, which was constructed next to the church, and the church and this house, they are interconnected. So it is known as the refectory, and it's quite unique because it was built without pillars. It has a very interesting vault, and yeah, beautiful. But again, I do not go inside because they do not approve of that, especially with the equipment, with the camera. But I'm showing it to you from the outside. Okay, so the fortification wall you can see, another tower, nicely decorated with the crown, with something which reminds us of a crown, and the burial place. In fact, I have to say that next to the Novodevichy Convent there is a very famous cemetery with the same name. The Novodevichy Cemetery. It's a huge cemetery where we have the burials of important people of the country. Well, important writers, scientists, poets, architects, engineers, generals, politicians, so they were buried there. It's huge. And it's the place where we have the burial of Mikhail Gorbachev, for example, yes, so the leader of the country who did perestroika, yes, that period of reconstruction. Then there we have the tomb of Nikita Khrushchev. He was not buried near Red Square, but he was buried here already at the Novodevichy Cemetery. There is a tomb of a famous writer, Gogol, famous writer Anton Chekhov, and lots of other people who contributed to the country. So here you can get a view of the church from a different side. And on the grounds of this convent, we also have a number of chambers. Chambers, they are residential buildings from the olden times. So the oldest chambers here date back to the end of the 16th century. So 16th century and 17th centuries, we have very unique buildings. So now just in front of you, you can see one of the examples of the chambers, living quarters, residential building. Well, such kind of chambers are usually characterized by quite narrow windows, thick walls, and quite low ceilings, because it was very important in the olden times to keep the building warm inside. People would use stoves. It was not so easy to keep warmth, and therefore well, everything was done trying to avoid the loss of the warmth. Okay, so here, take a look. There are some more burials and lots of trees. Lots of trees you can see on the grounds of the convent. There are maple trees. So here you can see that's the maple tree. There are birch trees, silver birch trees. So just in front of us there is a silver birch tree. There are some linden trees and other kinds of trees which are typical for this part of Russia, for Central Russia. What a beautiful day. You know, when I woke up in the morning, it actually looked gray, and then it rained a little bit, but well, now in the evening it has cleared a lot, and now it's just wonderful, very comfortable temperature, and just beautiful weather. No wind, the sun is not too strong. Well, what else can you see? I'm about to finish my walk here, but I would also like to give you an opportunity to see the chapel which we have. It's coming into our view. This structure of light brown color, beige color, is the chapel. The chapel which was built for the family of Prokhorov. So they were a family of business people, entrepreneurs in Moscow, and so different members of that family were buried in this chapel. So you can see it just in front of us. And there are several other burials just by the chapel. Okay, so here am I with you, and yeah, well, I guess that's it, more or less. I hope that you enjoyed this walk with me today, and it would be great if you well, put your thumbs up, and if you subscribe to my channel. So thank you for your attention, and goodbye.